Telesoft Technologies are a provider of intelligence-led services and technology in the areas of cyber, network and telecoms, and data science, amongst others. So a recent problem which Telesofts helped a customer solve was a very niche network engineering problem to do with network packet management on their network at very, very high rate. It was kind of hundreds of gigabits per second. And the customer had evaluated a system, but unfortunately it hadn't quite performed as the way which they were looking, and they came to Telesoft to look for a more bespoke solution and set of services. So we had a look at the problem case, we did some design, some innovation, and we came up with a proof of concept solution. And the proof of concept which we provided to them was extremely good. It ended up being twice as performant as the previously evaluated system, and 1/10 of the footprint. So it really kind of highlighted, kind of like the kind of elegant blend of hardware and software development with algorithm development, but also emphasising what's quite often lost is the green credentials in technology of using much less power by innovation. And I think that's something which is keen for us as a technology industry that we need to start embracing and moving forward. So the outcome of the initial project with the customer was that we are now furthering our relationship with them. We are entering into a more collaborative period, and they're bringing more problems to us for us to solve with innovation and with quality services. So what are my predictions for 2020? Volatility. We see more volatility in the world than we've ever seen. Strength. I see more strength in technology coming out, better standards. See a rise in the amount of legislation around IoT globally. I think there are elements of security, of the growth in encryption standards. We've got things like TLS 1.3, HTTP over DNS. These are massive evolutions to the way in which we communicate, these massive global data and communication networks. And I think the interesting thing for me, the biggest influencer, is that historically we've had legislation around the individual, things like GDPR and these types of legislation, same one as the New York Privacy Bill. These are pieces of legislation around the individual. And actually what we're seeing now is the emergence of pieces of legislation which cover either things like data as a sovereign asset, or in the Data Protection Act in India, or we're starting seeing wrappers around technology like IoT security, and that's really interesting for me because that's a big change in the way which we're the way in which we use technology, and it's moving away from just being a personal concern into having a wider impact. So my predictions for 2020, I could say that AI battles will become commonplace, but I think they really already are commonplace. But I think the real big drivers for me will be the emergence of more legislation around data, personal security, technological security, and increased trade.